Today on the channel, it's another Jakks Classic Superstars countdown as I count down my top 10 favorite Jakks Classic Superstars 2-packs.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Jakks Classic Superstars video, as today we're counting down the 2-packs, and we're doing it in the top 10 style. And every single Tuesday, as you guys know, for the last 2 years, probably over that by this point, we've had a Jakks Classic Superstar video, and right now we're into the countdown aspect of the Classic Superstars, and today, counting down the 2-packs, but the little asterisk with this, the little caveat, is these are the traditional 2-packs, which were Toys R Us exclusives for the most part. I'm not talking ringside collectible exclusives, some of the overseas 2-packs. We're going to count those in a total top 10 countdown of all the exclusive figures. So stay tuned for that video in the future on the channel. But today the 2-packs are shining their light real bright on us. And I always love the 2-packs, Jakks Classic Superstars figures. I was always more pro the 2-packs that represented the tag teams than the Stone Cold Steve Austin Rock feud, for example, things like that. I always felt like tag teams, this was their spot to shine in these 2-packs, where the feud ones, you could make that happen with the single cards. But I get it. There's a mix of that here. Always a great spot for a manager and a wrestler in these 2-packs as well. I felt that's what they should have been used for. And the feud ones, keep those to the single packs. But, you know, they mixed it up pretty good. And there was a little bit heavy in spots of some of the versus feud packs. But it is what it is all these years later. And, of course, we're going to count these down from number 10 all the way to number 1. That's the beauty of these countdowns. And as always, this is my list. Put your list in the comments down below and put them in order. So without any further ado, let's get after it. Let's look at the number 10 Jakks Classic Superstars 2-pack of all time. All right, we're starting off number 10, and we're starting off hot with something old Kyle loves a whole lot. You guys know there's things I love. I love face paint. I love masked wrestlers, and I especially love hairy bipedal creatures, and that's exactly what we got in this 2-pack, as we've got Giant Gonzalez and Harvey Whippleman. I talked about a lot of tag teams in these sets, but I also love the managers in these sets, and that's what we got here with Giant Gonzalez and Harvey Whippleman. Still his only figure. I have to think Zombie Sailor, Cella, somewhere along the lines in all these companies making wrestling figures, we're going to get another Harvey Whippleman sometime in 2022, 2023. I'd bet the house on it. Bet the house. There you go. But Giant Gonzalez, no stranger to the Classic Superstars line, as we got a regular carded release. We also got a very limited 1 of 500 real fur edition of Giant Gonzalez, which is a very cool piece as well in my collection. So Giant Gonzalez, no stranger. Would have loved an Elegante somewhere along the way. Unfortunately, those cards never played out. Here's hope to Mattel or one of the other companies we could get a Giant Gonzalez, a brand new one with the modern articulation, stuff like that. I know a lot of people don't like Giant Gonzalez, but I always loved Giants. And then having a Bigfoot type costume, man, sign me up all day long. You know I was in for this. Now, this Giant Gonzalez is not as strong as his single-carded release. The single-carded release, of course, had a little bit more paint detail. This is a little bit more plain. The real jewel is getting Harvey Whippleman with him here. But still a very cool piece. And like I said earlier, I love the manager wrestler 2-packs. I think those are very fitting. I would have liked to have seen more of those than the Versus 2-packs in this line. But pretty cool here. Can't go wrong with a hairy bipedal creature. Can't go wrong with Harvey and Giant Gonzalez. And that's why it comes in at number 10 on my top 10 list. All right, for the number 9 spot on my list, once again, we go to a Wrestler Manager 2-pack. And this is a very deep cut, but a very welcome cut. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Classy Freddie Blassie and a young Hulk Hogan. Yes, a young version of Hulk Hogan, doing his best Lando Calrissian, representing Cape season with a cape. Beautiful Hulkster here. Yes, I know, first thing you notice here is, how come Freddie Blassie's taller than Hulk Hogan? That's the way it was. There was no scale really back in these days. And a lot of people say, oh, the scale. Well, scale wasn't being done, so you can't really use that argument. Well, of course you can, but it doesn't hold a lot of weight with me because it was just different times in toys. You got to remember, this came out in 2006. 15, 16 years ago. It's been a long time. There wasn't a ton of scale going on in many of the toy lines out there. Toys were still geared for children. And children, guess what? They really didn't care a whole lot. Every once in a while you get some scaled toys, but it was very rare compared to this day and age. But a very cool 2-pack. I love that they went back to the well with Hulk Hogan to give us a different look that we've never got since, never got before. Thought it was very, very cool to do this. You had Freddie Blassie under contract. You can do a simple repaint with him. Hogan, of course. We got another one as a 1 of 100, which I do not own, as Terry Boulder, which is a very cool one. But I like this. And you got Hulk Hogan. Go to the well. Hulk Hogan sells. We all know that. Give us the caped Hulkster, and that's exactly what we got here. So a very, very deep, early cut of Hulk Hogan and Freddie Blassie, but very cool, and that's why it's at number 9 on my top 10 2-pack list. All right, we're feeling great at number 8, and number 8 is a tag team, and one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Who are we talking about? We're talking about the Four Horsemen. We're talking about Tully Blanchard, Arn Anderson 2-pack here. It is a little strange. They do come with the WWE tag team titles, but I can look past that, I guess. But cool to get Arn and Tully in a 2-pack. Of course, we got them in single packs, and we also got them in a 3-pack as the Brainbusters with Bobby the Brain Heenan. But I always enjoyed Arn and Tully's work, especially as a little kid. And I couldn't quite put my finger on what I liked about them. And then many, many years later, when I started to understand what went into a wrestling match and what it all took, and that was where it clicked for me that, man, they made everybody better. They had great promos, awesome ring work, awesome singles, awesome as tags. Just 2 legendary wrestlers, of course, part of the Four Horsemen as well with Ric Flair. Just absolutely loved Arn and Tully. Loved what this pack represented. Loved the coat jackets, the Four Horsemen ones. Much like a young FTR these days. But very, very cool 2-pack for me. And that's why it comes in at number 8 on my top 10 countdown. All right, we're at the number 7 spot in the countdown. And now this number 7 2-pack has some flaws to it. I am the first to admit it has some flaws. But it's still very cool to me, very nostalgic to me as well. And it is the Russian 2-pack. It is Ivan and Nikita Koloff. Very cool to get that Russian flag back there. The chain, pretty cheap. Not a very good chain representation for Nikita there. But Ivan Koloff, one of the all-time legends, of course, his matches with Bruno Sammartino back in the day. And then kind of rejuvenating his career a little bit with Nikita and the whole Russian gang and all that. Early NWA, or I guess I shouldn't say early NWA, but 80s NWA. The Russians' formidable opponent, of course, Nikita Koloff, one of the greatest of all time. I absolutely love Nikita back in the 80s. And a lot of people always compared him to Goldberg a little bit, too. Not a ton of work, not a ton, but he was a big jacked up bald guy, really living his gimmick for the time, so Nikita was pretty cool. Now I said I have some faults with this one, the chain being one of them, but also Nikita always felt a little bit small to me. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I would have liked a little bigger, jacked up version of Nikita Koloff here. And of course, we did get Nikita in the single carded series as well. I wish we got him in his black attire for the single carded one, but this one is pretty cool. It definitely pops off the shelf with the red singlets, looks really good. Ivan Koloff, his only figure in the Classic Superstars line, would be a great guy for another Mattel Legends line, things like that. Not sure if we'll ever get that or not, but boy, I sure would enjoy it. But a very, very cool moment in time 2-pack and very high on my list. And some might be surprised it even made my list at all. But I definitely like this one, and that's why it made the list. All right, the number 6 spot comes from a tag team that had many incarnations in the Classic Superstars set. We got exclusive versions. We got 2-packs with different people. We got many a single packed figure. Who are we talking about? Well, we're talking at number 6. We're talking about the Hart Foundation. Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret Hitman Hart. Fabulous, fabulous 2-pack here. Absolutely love this one. Very, very cool. Bret's got his awesome shades, which are still some of the best shades that have ever been produced in figure form than Anvil with his more traditional shades. It's the pink and black attack with the tag team titles. Of course, this was one of the heavy hitters of Series 1 with the LOD and the Rockers as they started off Classic Superstars 2-packs with a bang with those 3 sets. Absolutely love this one. Still great. Bret Hart, some could have very much make the argument, and they may not be wrong, that Jakks was the best at making Bret Hart's face scan. We've had a lot of rough ones from Mattel, as we all know. But a fabulous, fabulous pack here. There's no doubt how cool this is. Talked about the Russians popping off the shelf, popping off the wall with the red. The pink and black attack popping right off. Very, very toyetic, very cool looking. Definitely catches your eye. And for those reasons and a whole lot more, This one comes in at my list at number 6. All right, we're at the number 5 spot. We're at the halfway point. Of course, make sure you put your list in the comments down below. Make sure you put them in order. That's part of the fun. That's part of the challenge. 1 through 10, number 1 being your best. And of course, if you wanted a deeper dive in any of these figures we're talking about, these 10 packs, or these top 10 2-packs, check out the channel. I have a Jakks Class Superstars playlist. We have went through every single series by series, line by line, discussed ad nauseum about all these figures. So if you want more talk about any of these, look up the videos here on the channel. But number 5 for me, we go once again to those tag team sets. You guys know I'm a sucker for a tag team. And who are we talking about? We're talking about Beautiful Bobby. We're talking about Sweet Stan Lane. We're talking all things Midnight Express. Beautiful 2-pack here. Now, this was always my incarnation of the Midnight Express. This is where I saw the most Midnight Express matches as a kid. I know a lot of people say Dennis Condrey, and you could put Dennis Condrey in Sweet Stan's spot, and I don't know if many people would have complained. It would have been great to have both of them. Or better yet, if we could have got a 3-pack with Jim Cornette and Dennis Condrey and Bobby Eaton, for example, mix it up, that would have been an awesome way to go. But never in the cards, unfortunately. We did get an FTC Jim Cornette, and there's variants of that you can still buy to this day. I did buy the original Jim Cornette figure, and I display my loose Midnight Express with that Jim Cornette figure, and it does seem to work. Unfortunately, there was going to be a Jim Cornette figure in the TNA Legends of the Ring line, which was a sister line to the Classics. That was canceled, unfortunately, so we never got a Jim Cornette Jakks figure. I should say Jakks Classic or anything like that. We did get a Bone Cruncher way back in the day, though. But very cool 2-pack here of the Midnight Express. It's just a shame we haven't got any Midnight Express figures since this. We really need updated versions. I'm hoping sometime that happens. Who knows? Maybe Power Town will come through if Mattel won't do it, or Cella, somebody. But I have to think there's money to be made with a Midnight Express 2-pack. Hopefully we see it. Just wondering, outside of Beautiful Bobby, who will be in it? You never do know. I do love the inclusion of the NWA Tag Team title belts here. They aren't beautifully decorated with paint and stuff, but it does get the point across, does look really strong, and a fabulous set, especially if you grew up watching these guys. It was really cool to get them in figure form all these years later. So for number 5, we're talking the Midnight Express. All right, we're at number 4, and I think a lot of people might think number 4 would be higher on this list. I'm sure most people said, oh, we knew it would be on here, but you might have thought it might have been higher than number 4. But number 4, once again, is a tag team. You're seeing a pattern through most of these packs here. Number 4, we've got Axe, we got Smash, we've got Demolition. And I love Demolition. I love my face-painted wrestlers, of course. You guys know that. Looking like something out of a Judas Priest video back in the day. We got Demolition looking really good with the studs, the helmets, of course. Beautiful helmets here, the tag team titles. Axe and Smash, the classic team. Of course, we did get Crush added for a 3-pack, and we also got single-pack versions of Axe and Smash as well. But a very, very cool set. A day 1 buyer for me on this. There's no doubt about it. Can't wait to do a top 5 countdown of Demolition on the channel one day. You know this set will probably be on that list. But just very cool, and as my childhood goes, that's where a lot of my nostalgia is, and Demolition were running wild in the tag ranks. Them and the LOD, the Road Warriors, my 1 and 2, my 2 favorite tag teams back in the day. Some things never changed, still a favorite of mine. So Axe and Smash, Demolition, coming in at number 4. All right, we've come to the number 3 spot, the top 3. And number 3 is a bit of a deep cut. I'm not sure if anybody would guess this being on my list. Have to assume this will be on somebody else's list out there. It's got to be. But number 3 comes from one of the feud packs. So I talked a lot about these tag team packs, but this is one of the feud packs. And this is one of the best feuds of all time. If I had to do a top 5 greatest wrestling feuds of all time countdown, this would be very high on my list, as this is one of my favorite feuds I ever saw. I had to watch a lot of VHS tapes to catch it up. I had to watch a lot of David Letterman tapes to catch it up back in the day. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Jerry the King Lawler. We're talking about Andy Kaufman. My worlds combining. I loved as a kid watching Taxi reruns on Nick at Night, and then I was at my video store. I came across some Jerry Lawler, Andy Kaufman VHS tapes. Of course, the I'm From Hollywood documentary, kind of reliving the whole feud, all that stuff. Just absolutely fabulous. I loved everything about that. I love this incarnation of Lawler. I love the goatee on Lawler here. I love the look. I love the added addition of the stretcher, the crown, of course, with Lawler. Andy Kaufman with the neck brace. So much to like about this pack. Just an absolutely phenomenal pack. Of course, Jeremy Padawer, the creator of Classic Superstars, was from the Memphis area. He got to watch this feud live in person. He was from the area, so it does hold a special place in his heart as well. That's how we got those Andy Kaufman figures. Absolutely love it. Andy Kaufman's so far ahead of his time. I don't know if I'd say he's forgotten after all these years, but I was a little bit, too young for Andy Kaufman. But going back, watching that, watching Taxi, watching his Saturday Night Live stuff, his episode of Fridays, there's a lot of Andy Kaufman gold out there. Definitely check out Andy Kaufman, but definitely check out this feud. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. Just one of the greatest feuds of all time. Always special to me. And that's why this 2-pack comes in at number 3 on my top 10 list. Now we're at the final 2, and number 2 is one of those versus packs. You guys know I love the tag team packs, but this is one of those versus packs, and this represents probably the greatest moment in pro wrestling history for me, especially for younger Kyle. I still remember the whole day. I remember the whole lead up to this match. This was just something that, the electricity truly was in the air, and this was in Toronto. I was many, many miles, many hours away, but I could feel that electricity. I knew all along what was going to happen. Who are we talking about? We're talking about WrestleMania 6. We're talking Ultimate Warrior. We're talking Hulk Hogan. There it is. Like I said, a phenomenal match for me, one that changed my life forever. I remember that day clear as day to this day. A lot of days going on. I totally remember it. I remember the time in the playground, the old schoolyard. Everybody was Team Hulk Hogan. I was the only one Team Ultimate Warrior, and I was telling everybody, Ultimate Warrior's going to do it. Trust me, he's going to do it. There's no way. Hogan can't stop Warrior. And boy, that Monday morning when I came back into school, I was walking like Vince McMahon through the halls. I was telling everybody, I told you so. I told you so. Ultimate Warrior running wild. And he exactly was. So what a day, what a time to be alive for young Kyle. Just a moment in time I will never forget. I haven't forgot about it all these years later. It was just an amazing day. I was so happy I got to watch it live on pay-per-view. I remember just screaming at the top of my lungs at the Warrior victory. Just quite a momentous day for old young Kyle, and old Kyle, as you can tell after all these years. But a fabulous 2-pack here as well with the Ultimate Warrior with the worn out face paint, the chest paint worn out, the 2 title belts, a different version of Hulk Hogan. Truly a moment in time and quite possibly my favorite match of all time. So it's really cool to see that represented in figure form. And that's why this one comes in at number 2 on my top 10 list. All right, we've come to the end. We come to the end of the list. We're at number 1, my favorite Jakks Classic Superstars 2-pack of all time. And if you like what you see here, make sure you subscribe. Hit the old notification bell. As you guys know, I got videos every single day. And then every single Tuesday, we got Jakks Classic Superstars videos for over 2 years now. So if you like this, you don't want to miss one, make sure you comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, all that fun stuff everybody else tells you to do. And then, of course, Patreon. You can get this video much, much earlier on the Patreon. Be a part of giveaways, exclusive content, all the fun stuff that we get on Patreon over there. And best of all, you get to support the channel. So number 1 for me, you've seen the list. You've seen 10 through 2. You're probably saying, okay, this one's off, this is still missing. You can maybe figure this one out. And this one started it all off. As far as the 2-packs go, this is the first one I remember seeing as it was in Series 1 of the 2-packs. Who are we talking about? We're talking about that Legion. We're talking about that Legion of Doom. We're talking Hawk and Animal in the red and black gear. Some might say their most iconic gear. I almost think their old black gear is the most iconic for me, and I really do like the blue gear. Definitely those 3 are my top 3 favorite, and I'm sure most people's 3 favorites. But coming out of the gate hot, like we talked about with the Hart Foundation earlier on the list, we got Hart Foundation, we got the Legion of Doom, we've got the Rockers in Series 1. Couldn't get a whole lot better for Series 1. Really setting the tone very early in the Jakks Classic Superstars series. It would have been nice if we would have got the 2-packs as tag teams primarily, as like I said earlier, we got a little bit 2 single-carded ones, but getting us all right at the beginning, giving us 3 Hall of Fame tag teams, I always thought that was really cool. And Hawk and Animal with the removable shoulder pegs, beautiful likeness, you know exactly who this is, pops in the package with the red and black attack. Just not a lot to not like about this set. Just phenomenal. Gun to my head, though, it's funny, is this isn't even my favorite Legion of Doom 2-pack, but there's no denying how cool this is. This was later repainted in the blue for the single-carded series, which is just as well as just as fabulous as this pack. Not a many bad LOD figures over the years. There's been a couple, but not many bad ones, and this one is right there at the top of the list. A fabulous, fabulous 2-pack in Series 1, Jakks Classic Superstars. So there it is, number 1, the LOD from Jakks Classic Superstars, the Tag Teams Series 1. Remember, make sure to put your list down in the comments down below. Make sure you put them in order. That's the challenge. That's the fun of it all. And then we'll be back next Tuesday with another Jakks Countdown list. And in the meantime, if you need to reach out to me, hit me up at SirPaul64 on Twitter. Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson, and you made it this far, you might as well like the video. So for Jakks Classic Superstars, the 2-packs, I am Kyle. See you guys all real soon.